Hello, Year 3. Welcome to our second maths lesson of the week. So again, we're continuing with our addition and subtraction. So let's get going. So today we are actually going to be crossing today. So we have done this loads and loads and loads in school. So let's hope that you can remember your different methods to do this. So for question 1, you've been given some base 10 to use to complete the additions. So you've got 261 plus 10. Now, for some of these questions, you do not need to cross, obviously. So you won't really need to use the base 10. The only one you'd really need to think about it with is the last one. Hopefully you'll realise why. So, in which case, if you're using the base 10 and you're drawing base 10 on your piece of paper to do some working out, you would draw the number that you've been given. So you'd draw 261. You'd add the 4 tens. And now remember, if you have 10 or more 10 sticks, if you have 10 or more of those, we can't have that many 10s. We can only have up to 9 because then we'd go on to 100. So you would need to cross out 10 of your 10 sticks and move them and exchange them for 100 square. Okay, so remember that. It's really important today. So I'll let you have a go at that one. Okay, so for number 2, complete the additions. So work out what numbers you've got for each part of your calculation. So for A, you've got 1, 2, 3 hundreds. How many 10s, how many 1s, and how many 10s are you adding? So again, if you end up with more than 9 10s, so if you've got 10 or more, you'll need to cross out 10 of those 10s and exchange them for 100. Okay. Now, I'm not going to keep saying that every time. Hopefully you will remember that. And keep practicing that as we go along. So remember, if you have more than 10 or 10 or more, you'll need to exchange. Okay, number 3. So this place value chart is set out a little bit like a column method because you've got your biggest number on the top and you've got your number that you're adding underneath. Now, they've set the question out in a number sentence, but it's the same question either way. So you can use a place value chart to help you. So again, you've got how many hundreds, how many tens, how many ones, how many tens are you adding? So count up how many tens you've got all together. Do you have more than 10? If you do, cross 10 of them out, exchange it, draw 100 extra on there, and then count up how many hundreds, tens, and ones you are left with. Question number 4. When you add 5 tens to a 3-digit number, only the tens column changes. Write 3 examples to show that Amir is wrong. So think about that. If I have a 3-digit number and I add 5 tens, so 5 tens is the same as 50. If I add that to a 3-digit number, only the tens column will change. So think of how you can show that Amir is wrong. So just 3 examples. You don't have to write a sentence, just 3 examples of calculations where that would not be the case. Number 5. So here we go. We've got lots of calculations for you to practice here. Now, it's up to you. If you can work this out just by doing it in your head, that's fine. If you need to draw column method, then remember you put your biggest number on the top. So I'd do 452 and add 70. I put 70 underneath. Make sure that your 7 is underneath the 5 because they're both in the tens column, and 0 is below the 2 because again they're both in the ones column. So make sure that the columns are lined up. If you want to use some base 10 or place value counters to draw the problem, please do. Remember, draw your 452, draw 70, count up how many 10s you've got, cross out however many, well, it should be 10, hopefully there won't be any more than that. Cross out 10 of them, exchange them for 100, and then off you go. So have a go at these questions using whichever method you need to do. Number 6, so complete the number sentences. Now, for most of these, you've been given your answer. So, to work this one out, you need to think carefully. So you've been given 349 plus something equals 429. So you might try and draw this problem. If you think about it, if we know our answer and we know what we're adding, then we might have to do a different operation. So to work this one out really easily, I can do 429 and I would take away 349. So I can work that one out quite simply. So have a go at those questions, draw them, do whichever method you need to. You might have to do the inverse like we've just talked about, where you subtract instead. Number 7. So again, you're going to have to work backwards a little bit here. So you've been given your answer, you've been given your starting number. So what have you added to get from that number to the next one? Okay, so again, draw the problem if you need to. You could count on, you could draw 772 and add on and draw on each of the tens that you're adding. Now we know it's going to be a 10 because it's got 0 in the ones column, so your answer will be something with a number of tens and no ones. And then have a go at question B, where you are working out what goes in the tens column even, for your 300 and something with 4 ones number. Okay, question number 8. So what is the smallest possible missing digit? So 773 plus some amount of tens, is greater than 820. So for that one, you might have to work it out. You might start at, well, I know I'm not going to start at 10, but as an example, I might say 773 plus 10 is greater than, well, that's not right. So I know it's not going to be 10. So then I'd work up, I'd go 20, 30, 40, and so on until I got to the end. Okay, so for this one, and then just carry on doing the same method. So start at 10, or you could start at 90 and work down, whichever way you think will be best. So work through and find the smallest possible answer. You might have to work out lots of different answers to be able to get to the smallest one, so it might take a little while. Question 9. So a barrel contains 175 litres of water. 2 buckets of water are poured into the barrel. Now, you might want to write some of these things down. So you've got 175 litres of water and you've got 2 buckets. Now, if you look at our buckets, you can see that my tens have been covered on both of the buckets, but I can see I've got a 0 for the ones column. So I know there's going to be no ones. So you might want to write that down. So you could put a line and a 0 to show that you have a 2-digit number which has a 0 in the ones column. So there is now 265 litres of water in the barrel. So how much water could have been in each bucket? How many different answers can you find? So remember, we started with 175. We've now gone to 265. So what has been added in total to get from 175 to 265? And then think about your 2 different possible number bonds that you could make to make whatever that number is. So if, for example, it's not the right answer, if 40 in total had been added, then you could do 20 and 20, or you could do 30 and 10. So you're thinking about the different possible combinations of each bucket to make that difference. Okay then, so time for answers. I hope you've had a good go today. A little bit trickier, getting your brain going a little bit more, a bit more working out as well. So let's have a look. So pause your screen and have a look to see if you have got these correct. And our final set of answers. Again, pause the screen, have a look if you've got them correct. When you get to the last question, you'll see that it's any 2 multiples of 10 that total 90. So the difference between those 2 numbers was 90. So the example given is 60 litres and 30 litres, but think of 2 numbers that are multiples of 10, two numbers in the 10 times table that would add together to make 90. So 17, 20, and so on. Okay, that is the end of our maths lesson for today. Join me again on Friday for our final maths lesson for the week, where we will carry on doing a bit more addition. See you then.